Welcome back to another episode of the Hoopcast. Today I'm here with two-time LEC champion in Keene State's Mason G. Baptiste. Mason, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, no problem.
And looking through your resume, very impressive stuff, especially before you came here to Keene State. You went to Lynn English High School.
Yeah.
Just take me through some of those things that you accomplished while you were there, and what were some of your favorite moments?
So my journey at Lynn English just started my sophomore year. I transferred in there. I was going to a different school, St. Mary's in Lynn, which is like a private school there. And Antonio Anderson was getting the job, which was my head coach at English. He was getting the job at English my sophomore year. So I decided I just wanted to go back to my public school, just be around my friends, stuff like that. So that's when I made the switch, and we had a pretty good year that year. It's kind of crazy. Alonzo was on my team. We came in that same year. We made it to the playoffs, and ironically too, we lost to Nate and Lowell in the playoffs that year, which is my teammate now too as well. But it was good times. I learned a lot from that year. That's when MIA was like very stacked. You had a lot of good teams that year. But it's kind of crazy because back then I was just more like a defender, like just move the ball. A lot of things I do now just not as dynamic offensively. And I just think every year at English I just grew and grew to become more of a scorer, more of a shooter. I really couldn't even shoot back then at all. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, Antonio, he showed me a lot. He showed me the ropes to just how to just come in every day, work as hard as you can to try to achieve some goals that you want. And then junior year, that's when my brother came to transfer to English too. A couple more guys. And that was the first year we won the state championship, D1 MIA state championship. That was for sure like my best memory in high school, that first one. Because it was like 80 years since there was a state championship at Lynn English. So to do that, it was overwhelming, but a good overwhelming. Like we had the whole city come to our games, any playoff game, anywhere we went, if we weren't at home. Like it was just so much support, and it was just an awesome time to see the city just come together and show support for one another. So we did that. Got to see a lot of things like be involved in the community with City Hall, restaurants inviting us to go eat and stuff like that. So that was definitely fun. And then my senior year, we actually made it all the way back to the state championship, but the game had to get canceled due to COVID. So that was kind of a bummer, but it was great memories and great times being able to get back to there, played in the TD Garden twice, UMass Lowell twice, like just things that like you would never even think of that we could do at a public school like that, because MIA you play Catholic schools, private schools like that. So for us to do that out of our own city and just at our public school with the people we grew up around, it was just a different environment. It was pretty cool. So I appreciate everything high school did for me. It got me here to college, met a lot of friends, stayed, like it was just a good time. It was a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm. And something that we've seen at Keene State this year is that basketball can do a lot for the community as well. You mentioned you go back to your public school and you win the championship and then you're co-champions. It means not only a lot for you being in that public school, but the community as well. Mm-hmm. And then you hit on a couple of your teammates you had there. I'm going to start with Alonzo, who's now at Keene State with us. A lot of fans out there haven't seen him yet. Just take me through what he was like as a teammate.
At first when he came, he was kind of like big-headed, kind of cocky, high ego type player, and it was good to see him like just fit in with us. Because at first he would bump heads with a couple players on the team or like with the coach, and like it's just crazy. Like as time went on, you just seen less and less of it. Like there was no more ego. Like he became a team player. Like he doesn't care about the stats anymore, and it was just crazy to see him like be able to grow like that as a player in such short time. And now to see him, he doesn't even care about any of that. Like he just comes in, works his tail off, gets better, gets his guys around him better. He talks, like he knows how to be a leader in a different way. I feel like he leads by playing and leading by example, and just he'll chirp at you, but it's like just to get you going. It's nothing like that you're gonna take to the heart or anything like that. So that's why I love playing with him. And even back then he was like our 5-man, which is kind of crazy, but he stretched the floor, so he was a matchup problem for a lot of guys. And I think that's what he's going to bring to the table here. Is just going to be matchup problems all over the court. He could defend 1 through 5. He could play 1 through 5 if you need him to. Like, so I think he's going to be a great addition, and I'm excited for what he's going to do and everyone to be able to watch him.
Yeah, maturity for a guy like that is huge as well, especially when he's a guy that has the skills but wasn't there mentally. And then as he matured and as he started to notice some of the success, he became more of a team player, which is huge as you move into college. And then a different teammate you had transferred in your junior year is your brother.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like? What's the competition like when you're just balling in the backyard?
Oh man, that kid right there, he's something else. Like there's just countless times like we've literally just got into stupid fights over like little just games outside the backyard. Like we're playing 50, and if you foul him too hard, like he's literally just gonna charge at you, not even trying to score the ball. Like he does some crazy things like just playing one-on-one. But I learned so much from him, and I know he's learned so much from me. He's just he's just a natural scorer. I learned so much from him that he doesn't even know it, and I just appreciate everything that he's shown me. He's probably one of the best competitors I know. He's not gonna let anyone get under his skin. He's short, so he always plays with that chip on his shoulder. And he just reminds me of like a dog, just always getting after. You're always gonna feel him. Like he's just, like I said, he's just an all-time competitor. And I've seen him do some crazy things. I've seen him hit back-to-back game winners in a tournament, like the Comcast tournament. We played Brookline and Nita, back-to-back game winners, and that. Like I've seen him go for 30 multiple times. I've seen him make people fall. Like he's a hell of a player. I love watching him. He's like one of my favorite players to watch, honestly. And just being able to get taught by him and battle with him for so long, it's been a fun process. And now I'm taller than him now, so I can just shoot over him now. But we still battle. We just learn so much a lot from each other. And it's great to have someone by your side like that that's always supporting you, but also challenging you at the same time. And it just makes you want to keep going and never stop. So hopefully we both continue and have a long basketball career ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. And it's always great to have a guy like that in the same house as you as well.
Yeah,
always going to push you. And you talk about your basketball careers. I believe, is he at a D2 right now?
Yeah, he plays at Franklin Pierce, which is only like 30 minutes, 25 minutes away from here. So I've seen him a lot still.
That's good. That's dope. And of course, being so close, you can go to his games whenever, and he can come to yours probably. I'm sure you've both been to a couple of games of your brothers. And you talked a little bit about how he's a bit short, plays with that dog mentality. We got a guy over here like that. It's Nate Seau, obviously. You mentioned you played in the playoffs junior year. Is that something that you guys bring up a little bit?
When we first kind of got here, my freshman year, it was like kind of an iffy topic because it was still kind of recent because my senior year, so my sophomore year, he beat us in the playoffs, and then my senior year, we beat him in the playoffs. So it was kind of like coming in the freshman year was like still a fresh topic. He was still a little mad about it, but we brought it up a couple times, and it's crazy. When we first got here, he told me that like he didn't even know how we were gonna like click, I guess. But it was still mutual. Like even before we got here, like we were mutual friends, but we never really hung out with each other like that. But I knew him off like Instagram and stuff like that. Just playing ball around. But yeah, that's just kind of funny that we ended up taking each other out the playoffs and ended up being teammates. But I definitely got on him a couple times for that. But that's my guy too.
Yeah. What's it like playing against him?
Playing against him, he's annoying. He's definitely annoying. He gets under you. He doesn't let you breathe at all. Like another one of those guys, he's just gonna be in your face. Like, and he's a dog too. Like, he's just not gonna give up. If you get by him, he's gonna sprint as fast as he can to get back in front of you, and like he's just gonna. You might think it's easy because he's a little short, but he's just faster. He's strong. He's smart, and it's not like he's been short his whole life, so it's not like none that he's never seen before. And he just uses it to his advantage, and he's literally like a bully up there. I love playing around.
He's a guy that is in your pocket at all times. You know, you mentioned that he doesn't give you any space. Did he still guard full court in high school as well?
Yeah, he played like pretty much the same way, like just fast, high tempo. Just he's gonna get by you. He's gonna get to the cup. He's athletic. He can jump. He's pretty much like always been like that. So in high school he was a tough matchup too. But I feel like he's a lot tougher now because he's been developing his jump shot a lot more. He's been able to hit mid ranges and threes, and that was his downfall in high school. But he still made it work in high school. But now it's just like he's a total different monster now. Like being able to knock those shots down. Still find his teammates whenever he wants. Just get by his defender with ease. It's fun to play with him too. He makes a lot happen.
It's definitely fun to watch him as well. And kind of getting away from normal high school ball, talking about AAU. What are some, if any, teams you played for over the years?
So I started my first AAU team. It was just like a local team. And it was really like my football team, but my football coach just decided to throw us like to have us start playing basketball and stuff. So my football team were called like the Lynn Chargers, and that was actually like the AAU team too. So that was like that happened, and then I bounced over to Mass Evolution for a couple of years. I was probably like third, fourth grade. Then I went to MABC, and then after that I went to Mass Rivals. I've been in a lot of teams, but after Mass Rivals, I went back to play with my coach that coached me in high school, and we went to like the Adidas Gauntlet, stuff like that. And then my last year of AAU, I played for it was this new Under Armour team, Team Loyalty. We went to the Under Armour circuit, got to see a lot of guys are like playing in the NBA now and stuff. So that was a pretty cool experience at AAU. Been through a lot in AAU. Been on better teams, worse teams sometimes, but it was always fun. It was always about having fun. You get to travel with your friends and stuff like that. So got to play good competition always. Whether I was winning some games, losing some games, it was more just about the experience, being around people, getting to see basketball all day. But now thinking about it, it's kind of crazy. You wake up at like, have a game at 9 a.m. and play again at like 4, just running around all day, doing dumb stuff. But AAU was definitely fun. And I'm glad I played it. I just experienced a lot of it, got to see a lot.
Yeah, who are some of those NBA players you saw at those tournaments?
I've seen Jalen Suggs, Seth Holmgren, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Green, Isaiah Todd, definitely a lot of others. Those are the ones off the top of my head though.
And some of those names are definitely well-known names. You know, Anthony Edwards, great player. Chet Holmgren, we haven't seen any of him, but could be one of the better prospects in multiple years. Going to those tournaments and playing those games, do you feel you got your name out more than playing at Lynn English?
Honestly, I I really don't know because, like, you go to those type of tournaments and, like I said, like those big games, like it's kind of like all the eyes are on them, in a sense, because whoever they're matched up with is that could be another opportunity for that guy on the other team. And it's just like once you're around like so many of those guys, it's just like the coaches or the scouts like kind of tend to follow them, like all the cameras follow them and stuff like that. So I feel like at Lynn English, like I would say I got exposure from both for sure, but Lynn English was just like, I don't know, you see more of it, like you're in the newspaper or like just social media posts like and stuff like that, like, and I feel like it's over a longer period of time, so there's more opportunities to get seen throughout the high school season. But also too, like it just depends like your situation at the time, at the moment, who you're playing for. Because I know a lot of people that didn't go to like a good high school like that, and they strictly got seen off the AAU. So I feel like it depends like your situation, honestly.
Yeah, and both of them offer different types of exposure. Of course, you know, playing public high school tends to be more of a system, like what type of player are you in the system, how do you make winning plays for your team, and then AAU is more skill-based, like can you go ISO,
Right.
similar to pickup ball in that type of way. And then kind of moving into your recruitment, what were some of the first experiences you had, whether it be Coach Keene, Coach Hastings, or any of the coaching staff?
So with Keene, it was actually Coach Hastings and at the time Coach Dixon. He's not here anymore, but they actually came up to me after a summer league game, and it was my junior, my junior year summer. So going into my senior year, they came and talked to me after a summer league game, and Nikki Knaps was like the head coordinator, I would say, of that league. So he was involved too. But they just came up to me after the game telling me they're interested. We shared contacts, continued to text. And it's kind of crazy because after that, I kind of stopped talking to Keene because at the time I was getting interest from a couple of D2s from like my area. I was talking to Merrimack a little bit. But once COVID hit, they stopped the visits, so you couldn't visit schools anymore, and then that's when all this stuff, like, that's kind of like, you don't know who's going to be at the school still, so it was like, I really didn't have anywhere to go, and I had already stopped texting Keene, and they stopped reaching out to me because they were expecting maybe something like would come up with another school, but I literally had like nowhere to go at one point during COVID. I was thinking about maybe doing the PG year, but I didn't want to end up having to pay to go to PG and then still not get anything out of it. 'Cause it was just like, it was COVID. It was such an uncertain time that I didn't know what to do. So I honestly I went what was right. I went with what felt right for me. Sorry. So I ended up to text Coach Keene again and just let him know, like, hey, like, things didn't work out the way I thought they would. And basically, like, do you still have a spot for me? But this is already after, like, a bunch of guys committed. It was after me, Hakan, Jordan, I believe. So there was, like, a lot of guys already on the way here with the guards that were already here. So I was just, like, I was really kind of down, not thinking that like they would take me, and then Coach Keene just called me. He was just telling me how everyone's gonna have the same opportunity to come here and play. And once I heard that, I just knew I had to take the opportunity because that was really the only option I had. And if the coach, anywhere I go, if the coach said I have an opportunity to play, I know I'm gonna work for what I deserve or whatever it is that I could earn. I know I'm gonna work hard for it, and if I have the opportunity, then I'm gonna take my chances 10 out of 10 times and just go for it. So that's kind of how I ended up here, and it worked out in my favor pretty well, that I would say. So I'm happy that all that did happen, just kind of in a weird way, but you know, everything happens for a reason in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, COVID, it messed up a lot of things for a lot of people, obviously. And from the sounds of what happened to you, it's just, it comes down to the point where you just got to believe in yourself and you go and take that opportunity, which you did. And obviously, little regrets from you and also the coaching staff that helped bring you in here. And then kind of talking about your freshman year now and the impact of COVID on that, just take me through, you know, how you were transitioning to high school to college ball with COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously coming in as a freshman, I didn't even really know what to expect. So to come in during COVID, I think that's like actually what really helped me elevate my game to the next level because I just had so much free time. Our classes were online, so I could literally just be in the gym all day. And I think that's like really when I was focused on developing my shot, and I just came in shooting the ball at a high clip. And I like just being around the guys for so long. Like we practiced for, I think we had like maybe 90 or 100 practices before we even played our first game. So just coming in and being able to smooth into it like that, and not like just rush into the season's here, like time for games, like just figure it out. Like I had a lot of time just to go at my own pace and really like understand college and how to balance schoolwork with playing and stuff like that. So I actually like am glad that COVID happened and it happened in that fashion because it just gave me so many opportunities to work on myself and better my game. And like I said, like practicing that much times with the same guys every day, like you're bound to just gain chemistry and just be on the same page and want to reach the same goals with each other. So I feel like that's what really like kickstarted this whole turnaround of the program. Was that COVID year because they were coming off Keene was coming off an off year the year before that. So Coach Keene had visions of turning the program around like right now. So, and we all knew that, and we had the time for it. So we just took it step by step and day by day. Just went hard to practice every day, and then we finally got to play some games. And then we played 9 games, including the championship. So we got to play 8 games. Got a mini conference tournament experience. And I think that did help us because there were some teams in LEC that didn't even get to play at all that year. So us playing, and then we lose a couple guys that year, but we keep the same core for the next upcoming years. So I feel like us all getting to play with each other. That my freshman year, which is COVID year, really gave us an advantage. That helps us out now.
Yeah, and you mentioned that championship game, not the greatest result, of course. You went to UMass Boston, which one of the more historic programs in the conference, of course. What was the feeling like after that game? Obviously, not the results you wanted.
Yeah, it was just, it felt like it wasn't real in a sense because we played them twice previously before that, close games. We beat them the first time that we ever played them. Well, I ever played them. We beat them at their home floor, and we played them the next day here at Keene, and they beat us. But they were both close games. So for us to just like get absolutely killed like that in the championship, it was like shocking. Like, and it really didn't even feel real. Like it was like we just got hit by a truck and we didn't even know what happened. It was like that kind of feeling. And I knew that I didn't want to feel that again. So the whole team just knew we had to come back on a different time to really be where we wanted to be and not have to feel that again. That was crazy.
Yeah, and you get a couple of recruits that come in, obviously, more games coming up. You played pickup through the spring into the next season, gained chemistry, all that type of stuff. in what ways was the mindset different coming out for that season into your sophomore season?
You're saying from my freshman and sophomore year?
Yeah, like how did it change after that game, the mentality?
Oh yeah, it was just like countless talks with Coach Keene, like individually, just making sure that we don't come out and ever come out not ready to play like the way we did in that championship game. So with that, with having that mindset to just always be ready and to stay ready, that's what fueled our process to just come in every day and just keep working, no matter how good you feel about it or how good you guys think you may be. Like, we still lost by 40 or 50 points last year, so whatever we think we're accomplishing, we really haven't done anything because we lost in the LEC championship. So it was just like that. The focus of not playing that bad ever again is what fueled the fire for all of us to just come out and just work and just stay in the gym, stay in the weight room, things like that. Just always push each other, stay accountable to each other. And I think that's what really like started the drive to have a player-driven culture. By just us staying on top of each other like that, and Coach Keene pushing us, and it just trickled down to us, ended up pushing each other every day, and that's why we play like the way we do now.
And all that time in the gym, not only during your freshman year, but also after the freshman year, you talk about talks with Coach Keene, always being in the gym, working hard. We saw that on your stat sheet. I believe you started in all but one game as a sophomore, averaged over double-digit points, and then eventually won the LEC and won at Swarthmore. Do you think that team exceeded expectations?
To the outside, I would say yes, but internally, I would say no, in a sense, because we knew what we wanted and we knew what we had to do to get there. But UMass Dartmouth also was very good. They had all their guys come back from the team that just beat us. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, but it wasn't anything that we didn't believe that we could do ourselves. So just having that confidence in yourself and your teammates, we believed that we could do anything. And once we beat Dartmouth, we just had such high energy and high confidence in ourselves that I think that's led over to the Swarthmore game. We were just so focused that game, and we came ready to play physical. They're a physical team, but we matched their physicality. We executed all our sets, and we ended up with that win. But I would say to people like people that are involved in like top 25 voting and stuff like that, like I would say we surprised them in a way. We surprised probably a lot of other coaches and teams by winning that Swarthmore game, and even the UMass Dartmouth game. But I wouldn't say that we were surprised. We knew that we could do it.
And how about yourself? Do you feel like coming into the year, you set certain goals and you kind of surpassed them?
Yeah, I was definitely focused on just winning the LEC. Losing by that much in a championship game is not going to sit right with any athlete. So that was really my main focus, just making sure we stick together, like, because we do have the team to do this. I wanted to be that piece of glue to hold everyone together and make sure we did it, and we ended up to do it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, everybody playing their roles plays a big part in successful teams, of course. And then, I forgot what I was going to say. Take me through what it meant to go to UMass Dartmouth again the next year and beat them in overtime.
Yeah, that was everything. Beating them at their home floor after we lost the way we did, it was great that it was a great environment. I had a lot of my family members there. I had a lot of friends there. It was just like it was just that feeling like you finally you feel accomplished because it was such a long season, and it was just coming off my freshman year off the loss, like the off season just felt so long, like because you keep dwelling on the loss, and then you come in to preseason and you're just so excited, but it feels like it's taking forever to get there, and the season drags out. You go through your up and downs throughout the season, and then just to top it off with that, like you go back to the same place that your season just ended. You're pretty much with the same team. You got the same coach. You're playing against the same team that has the same players on it. It's just like, I don't even know the word for it. It's just like a rush through your body almost. And it's like almost unbelievable, but you knew that it would happen. So it's just like satisfying. It was satisfying to myself, and it was just like a deep breath, and like I brushed it off my shoulders. It was like that kind of feeling, like just, it was relief. It was crazy.
It's one of those things that, you envisioning happening, and then you kind of think you're prepared for it until it actually happens.
Yeah,
and
right,
like,
exactly.
That's the feeling that you want to feel over and over again.
And the way we won too is like, you'll never think that we win off that. Like an alley-oop for the game is just wild.
Yeah. Definitely is wild.
Yeah.
And then, kind of, you're the underdog that season. You win the LEC, and then you come into this season. Everybody's a year older. How do you prepare for that, knowing you just won the conference and kind of shifting from the underdog role to more of the favorites in terms of the LEC?
Yeah, when you win, you just get more eyes on you, and you almost have a target on your back. So we all knew that the whole LEC and everyone in this region was going to be targeting us, and we knew that from the start of the season. We talked about it. We knew that at some point we would get ranked because we knew that we were that good, and we worked hard for it. So it was going to come at some point. We just knew not to get too caught up into that, because at the end of the day, like I said, we still have a target on our back. Everybody that we play is going to give us our best shot. Guys that we think shouldn't be making shots, they're going to make those shots against us, just because every team is going to get up and want to play their best just because they're playing Keene State. So we knew coming into the year, like first game, we just knew we got to set the tone with every team that we play. We can't give them any chance, any hope, because if you give teams like that you should just beat, if you give them hope in life, then that's when like crazy stuff just starts happening. Guys that can't shoot just start making shots all over the place. So we knew we just had to come with a very different mindset this year. I feel like we did that. We shut a lot of teams down, shut a lot of the best players down. Just always, we were saying we didn't want to be hunted. We wanted to still do the hunting. So just having that mindset is definitely what carried us over.
Yeah, and I thought from the year before you played the underdog role incredibly well until I saw you play the role that you played this year, of course. And it all started, pre-season. Jeff Hunter and Octavio get named captains. Just talk about some of the leadership things and how that affects the team.
Yeah, them being the captains, they deserve it. They lead the team in very good ways. They do it very differently, but they do it in a way where everyone is also included too. So even though those two guys are the captains, they still give everyone on the team the power from top to bottom to say whatever they say that they feel like is gonna better the team. So it's not like your typical captain, like I say this is how it goes. Like they want everyone on the team to talk, and they want everyone to feel involved, and they want the last guy on the team to feel like they're also the captain. So just for them to share the power and the love like that is what really made our team click. there's just different personalities all around the team. So for them to being able to shift the way they talk to people, how they show how you should be doing a drill or be doing running a play this certain way, and just them knowing how to just talk to everybody on the team shows like their maturity and how good of leaders they are. And obviously like they're great players, but they never took like the captain or the leader of the team like in the wrong way or ever got like too cocky or big-headed about it. Like they never really even talked about it, honestly. We huddle up as a team and they're the first ones to encourage someone else to say something first before they do. So just stuff like that goes to show what kind of leaders they are and how much they care about this team and where this program goes. Wouldn't want anyone else on the team to lead us the way they do.
Yeah, and you talk about how everybody's involved and how captaincy is like just kind of a word to all of you guys, and it's based off of chemistry. You know, a lot of the guys know what's going on and they're not afraid to talk to some of the other players. Do you think that your chemistry is something that sets you apart from some of the other programs?
Yeah, for sure. Even I know when we played tough, Spencer Anderson's brother plays on the team, and he said just from the way we warmed up, like he knew that we were gonna win. Like we do everything so together. Like you probably seen when we do our little clap. Like we just feed off each other. If we see one guy doing, maybe he's not having his best day, 8 guys are gonna tell him it's alright. Like you're gonna be good. Or if someone's doing really good that day, those same 8 guys, or you know what I mean, like just everyone's just gonna be on you always. Whether you're doing good, bad, we're all here for you at the end of the day, regardless of what happens. So I feel like in a game, a team that's not as connected, if a turnover in a crucial moment happens, like they might just turn on each other or not be as together as we do. We could be down 5 or 30 seconds and we're still gonna huddle up and talk about what we're gonna do to win this game. Like at no point do we ever think we're out of it, and it's just because of who we are and our culture and our nature of our team, just to keep on going and encourage each other and never feel down or never get on a teammate. But we do have the culture where if someone does get on a teammate, that person knows not to take it personal in any way. It's just because that teammate wants to see you do better and wants to see you achieve at a higher level. And I think we all understand that. So it like guys could say anything to anyone on the team and nobody's gonna take no offense to it. And I think that's what really helps us like push through at the end of games. Like even at that Westcon game in the championship, it was back and forth the whole game. And I feel like we just beat them with our culture and our habits, just being so connected in that game. Whenever something looked like it didn't go our way, it was, in our eyes, it was fine because we know that we're just gonna come all five players and the bench is gonna come at you for the next play, the next play after that. So I don't think we ever get rattled or nervous or scared of the moments, anything like that. We all embrace the moment and we do it together. And I feel like that's what helps us out.
Yeah, especially at the D3 level, there's different teams that do harp on each other and do take it personally, and it leads to just, bad things in the locker room, and that's just something you don't see at Keene State.
Yeah.
And then you kind of mentioned it a little bit in the Western Connecticut game, but I want to take it to the Albertus Magnus game. You played them the past couple of years, very, very close games. Just talk about how, chemistry and then a little bit of maturity and togetherness helped you win that game.
We lost to them last year, my sophomore year. And we lost by 3, but we did not play a good game at all. We weren't executing, we weren't rebounding the ball. I feel like that was one of the games that we actually not go against each other, but we weren't as connected as we should be. So now this year, we come back with a whole different mindset. And, they have a lot of the same guys, still have their bigs down low, still have their guards and stuff like that. So I feel like this year we knew we had a little bit of a slip up last year against them, so we just came back and we're just so focused. Playing as a team, flying up and down the court, huddling after every play or a foul or out of bounds. Just making sure guys are on the same page, calling out the same play, talking who we got on defense at the free throw line, talking about like who's in the help. Just like we're just so connected this year, and I feel like we almost ran them off the court just by us being so connected, not even anything to do with basketball. Because a team like that, they're gonna come at you every play, but it's not. It might not look the cleanest or the prettiest, but they're gonna come at you. So you just gotta. That's one of those games you gotta just stay together because they're not gonna give up. So you gotta just sit together and fight it through.
And especially against a program like Albertus Magnus. They played in the GNAC conference, I believe it had been 10 straight years they appeared in the finals, so they're not a slouch of a program either. They're going to bring stuff like chemistry and maturity to every game they play as well. And then the Newark game, of course, similar program as well. And then I'm going to take you to a moment that you had later in the season in one of those crucial games against Western Connecticut. You had a big three. I don't remember what the score was, but take me through that moment and how you were, how comfortable you were hitting that shot.
I was very comfortable, but that just goes to show for my teammates. Like I could be 1 for 20 in a game, and they don't care. They still want me shooting that ball. Every time out, like guys are telling me keep shooting, your shot's gonna drop. But it's kind of crazy that the three that I hit. It might have been Gabe. Actually, it was T. Tommy. He said, "We're coming out the timeout." He said, "You're about to hit a big three." And I'm like, "All right, I got you." So I forgot what happened. I think did they double team O?
I don't remember either. All I remember is you were the trailer and you were kind of open.
Oh, yep, that's what happened. So I think it might have been it's either Nate or they're dribbling up the left side, and I'm just trailing, but no one's really on me, so I slow down so like the defense doesn't really see me, and I step into it with confidence that my teammates gave me and that I have personally, and I just knocked it down. But for that's probably one of my favorite shots, like in the championship game. Big crowd, big moment. But like I said, like it really didn't even have anything to do with me. It was just my teammates giving me that confidence to keep shooting and like just keep going. It doesn't matter if you miss, you can miss the next 5, shoot the 6th one like you just made all 5 of them. So stuff like that, what shows how together we are because in another situation, a kid would on the bench that doesn't really get to play would be like, well, I would make that shot if know what I mean? So for us to just be like that, and it doesn't matter if a guy's not playing, he's still gonna cheer for you like he's the one that's playing and has 100 points in the game. So it doesn't really matter. But that's just a shout out to my teammates for just keeping me in the game and telling me to shoot the next one like I haven't missed.
Of course, a huge moment. Something we got used to, you find yourself open a lot on those trailing in transition. Taking it to a different game, you have an excellent start as a team, 15-0, and you're welcome Middlebury in, who was also nationally ranked and had a very good record to that moment. Take me through what happened in that game.
That game, that was back and forth game, the whole game. I feel like we gave away that game to them. Like Middlebury's obviously a great team. They got a lot of good players, but I feel like we just let that one slip away from us. Like we didn't come as ready physically and mentally. I believe like we just weren't as sharp as we should have been. We gave up easy offensive rebounds. Guys were like late on the help when we know we're supposed to go help or double team. Like we just weren't as physically and mentally sharp as we needed to be to play a high caliber team like Middlebury. But I mean, we definitely learned a lot from that game. Just proving, because that was our first loss, so they showed us like we can be beat. And once we lost that game, it was just like we knew that we should have won it. So we just turned it up to a different level. Just in practice, really just competing on the glass, making sure that if you're supposed to help, then you're going to help, or you're going to double team. Because we missed things like that, and just even like just simply boxing out, or just going to track the ball down, get the rebound, or dig it out if they do get the offensive rebound. I feel like after that game, we emphasized not letting teams score so easy if they do get the offensive rebound. Like, if they do, don't give up. Just don't give up a wide open layup. Like, make sure it's contested, or like foul him, make him earn at the line, something like that. But they definitely they outplayed us for sure that game. They really wanted it. They came out hot. They were ready. We punched back in that game, and they didn't get phased one bit. So they were just more ready than us, and I think that's what we took out of that game. Just that you guys are beatable, and you got to come into every game physically and mentally prepared to compete at the highest level like that.
Yeah, and that was the biggest takeaway that I had from that game is whenever you would make a big play, they wouldn't fold. They would come back right at you and hit a three, make a layup, that type of stuff. And so far in the season, that really hadn't happened to you guys. So kind of a wake-up call, and like you said, made you work harder in the days coming after that game, and especially with the LEC schedule coming up. I believe you might have played 1 or 2 games before that, but you still have the rest of the LEC season. And obviously being the defending champs, you had a target on your back, so that was really good for you guys to kind of look in the mirror and realize that you can't be beaten. And take me through a little bit of what happened during the LEC season. What were the goals you had in mind? Did you ever feel like you could make that history that you made?
We definitely did, because our goal, honestly, in the beginning of the season was to go undefeated. And once we lost that Middlebury game, after that game, I remember telling the guys, like, all right, we lost once, but the next best thing we could do is have 1 loss on the record. So that was like kind of the next step that we wanted to get to, just not to lose another game. And it was out of conference. Like, you still want to pick that W up. You definitely don't want to pick the L up, but. We just said, all right, we lost one, they got us, just don't let it happen again. So we know we're moving into LEC play. Everybody knows you, everybody knows your system, what you're trying to do, what sets you're running, what you're doing on defense. So it kind of gets harder, because then you got to play them twice and maybe 3 times come the playoffs. So it's literally like you're just playing. It's almost like you're playing your friends. Like, you see them so much. So you gotta come, like I said, like physically and mentally prepared, because LEC it's a defense-oriented league. So teams are gonna bang you trying to come through the lane. You might get hit with an elbow or get like fouled pretty hard, but we just knew we had to battle every team and not look past any opponent in the LEC, because any given day, any one of those teams could beat you, give you a run for your money. So we just knew to come in like we're playing the best team in the conference every single game, no matter who we're playing. And it worked out in our favor. We were undefeated in the league. I believe we're the first team to ever do that since the expansion at LEC, which is honestly crazy to me. But like we didn't even know that going into the year while we're saying, like, all right, we're gonna go undefeated. Like, we didn't know any of those would be like breaking records. So when we found those out, Coach Keene didn't even tell us until it was like probably like we had 1 or 2 games left in the LEC that no team has ever done it. So once we found out, like, it kind of gave us a little extra push. But that was definitely pretty cool to be able to make history like that, like we did this year.
Yeah, definitely telling you guys so late in the season kind of gave you an extra push to try and achieve that goal. Of course, it was that undefeated record that allowed you to play the championship game here. Just take me through what the crowd was like in that game and the anticipation having it being here.
Yeah, that crowd was awesome. You know, last year when we won it at UMass Dartmouth, after we won, like we're happy about the win and so excited. But we just kept saying like, man, imagine we were at Keene, like imagine we were playing at home. So, you know, that's what we wanted to do this year. And once we were able to be in a position that we knew we were hosting, we just knew that now we can't lose at home. So literally all eyes are on us. All our fans are here. It's playoff time, and you can lose at home. And we almost lost at home to Rick my sophomore year in the first round of the tournament. So we knew that it wasn't gonna, just because we're at home, it's just gonna be a wash and an easy, you're gonna walk in and beat this team because you're at home. Like, we knew that that was not the case at all. But being at home definitely gave us such an advantage. Our fans were great. The community, just people that live in Keene, that gym was packed. I've never seen that gym get filled up like that the way it did. And all the fans were engaged in the game. I forgot, I think was it a White-O, I think, or it might have been a White-O, I think. But it was crazy to see like how much support we had on campus, even off campus, by the community. And it was great. That was a great atmosphere. I love playing in packed gyms like that, where it's loud, you can't really hear. Yeah, it was an awesome time.
And of course, all that worked out in the end. Of course, you won. And then just the chemistry, you know, you were together in the second half, coming down by 7, you know, Octavio, one of the better scorers on the team, 0 points at halftime, and just spoke a lot, not only to how great your team was, but the community as well. Kind of reminded you of what you said earlier about, you know, you won at Lynn English, and the whole neighborhood was there. You know, compare this year's title to the 3 other ones you won.
This year, I would say, is definitely, because, you know, going back to back is always harder than the first one in my eyes, because after you get that first one, you know, you get that target, everyone's going to know how hard they have to play to try to beat you. So I think this year was definitely one of the harder ones, because it wasn't so that we felt like there was much teams that were better than us, but it was just the fact that we had to stay locked in and know that we had to come and compete so hard every day against each other. And it got to the point where we wanted our practices to be harder than our games. That's how hard we were working towards it this year. Like going, even if practice is for an hour and a half on the court, we're going to give everything we have for that hour and a half just to make sure that we're prepared for every situation. So getting this championship this year, I would put that like second behind the first one that I got at English, because the first one, that was my first time ever winning like a state championship or a championship like that. So that's always going to be number one. But this year, just like I said, like the way we worked for it and knew that we could win a lot of games just purely off our talent, but that's not what we wanted at all. We wanted to know that the other team like had no chance to even play with us. Like, so just the way we were preparing ourselves and so focused on scouting other teams and coming into walkthrough, just trying to beat our shooting. We do this like little shooting drill, just trying to beat the record that we have for ourselves in that drill. Like every time we do walkthrough, just the little things like that. That's what made this one special for sure. And the bond with the guys on the team, to be able to go out and send the seniors like that we had on the team this year off the way they did. this one was definitely one for the books in my house.
For sure. And you talk about the trying to beat the record on that shooting drill. There's just so many little things and so much hard work that goes into not only winning championships but winning it back to back. Just gonna move into kind of more of your individual stuff. I noticed personally, and it kind of surprises me that earlier you were talking about your shooting and how you didn't think you were the greatest shooter in high school. Obviously, a lot of people see you now as kind of a shooter, but I think your game is very underrated when it comes to three-level scoring. Not only can you hit three-pointers, but I think you can create space in the mid-range and knock down a tough jump shot with the best of them. You can also get to the hoop. Some great athletic finishes near the rim through traffic. How would you describe your game offensively?
I would definitely consider myself a three-level scorer for sure. But you know, it just goes to show how much work I put in. Before I was like so one-dimensional, I should really just try to get to the hoop and get layups and stuff like that. But then, you know, I started playing a lot of taller players, so then I had to start shooting mid-ranges and get into floaters and stuff like that. And when I got here, that's when I really developed my three. And now it's kind of like all coming together in full motion now, where I could get to wherever I want on the floor, get whatever shot I want when I want it. You know, and still have the factor to get into the rim. So I feel like that's what helps me score, because you gotta respect me at all three levels. It's not like, you know, I just want a three because then I can get a layup or a floater or a pull-up. But it's not, you can't take away the rim because then I can just shoot it. So I feel like just having so many different options and different ways to get to my spots like that just helps me so much. And then being able just to finish like the layups or a jump shot like that anywhere on the floor just opens the game up for me and gives me so many different opportunities to be able to score in different ways.
Yeah, and makes you a very dynamic scorer as well. And I was looking through your statistics so far at Keene. You've managed to be a consistent double-digit scorer on average. How much of that staying consistent is the mental approach?
You know, being consistent throughout whole seasons is more mental than anything. Like of course, you gotta stay physically fresh and make sure you're always touching up your game and stuff like that. But you know, it's tough. You go into a game where you can hit 3 or 4 threes, couple of mid-range shots, and that's when you really feel good. You feel like you could make anything. But then you might have a game where you go 1 for 7, like 2 for 9, something like that, and that's like when it could either break you or it could make you. Like you could either fight it and get yourself out of the slump, or you could like sometimes you could really beat yourself up mentally, like, oh, I stink, like I can't even make a shot. If I'm wide open, I'm gonna miss. Like if you just start thinking that, then you're not gonna make the shots, or you're not gonna do anything good. You're gonna turn the ball over. But I feel like if you fight that inner voice that's saying like, oh, you can't do this, but if you fight that and say, I can make this, or you shoot it like I'm making the shot, and when you let it go and it goes in, now it's like, yeah, I knew I was gonna make that. So it's kind of like, it's really more of a mental game than anything, because you know, like when you're shooting the ball, like you have time, and it's not like you're thinking. It's not like you think. It's kind of weird to explain this. I'm trying to explain it the best I can. Like you don't think about it, but you are thinking about it. Like I don't even know how to put it in other words, but like you're not thinking about shooting the ball. But it's more like you're thinking, how am I going to shoot it? When am I going to release it? Things like that. But once that gets in your head, I feel like that's when it all can go downhill. You just gotta shoot with a short memory. If you miss it, like you just gotta realize I missed because I might have put it to the left a little bit, something like that. Like if you just keep it positive and keep going, and I'm gonna hit the next one. And then, like I said, my teammates always come in and play. Don't worry, keep shooting, keep shooting. Once you shoot in that, that's when you start getting yourself going, and then maybe you get a layup or a free throw, and then everything just starts feeling good again. So I feel like once you can control that mental aspect of getting up and going through those up and downs, through slumps and stuff, like being able to get yourself out of slumps, once you really figure that out, I feel like just like making shots just comes with repetition after that. But once you get past the mental stage, I feel like it's really just on you and how much times you rep that shot.
Yeah, you went through pretty much every factor that I would have thought of, just staying on top of it. Of course, teammates can help with that, and, just repetitions, you've done this before, that type of mentality. And then talking more about your defensive game, I've had a couple of guys on here already that have just praised you on the defensive side of the ball, and you mentioned earlier in high school you were kind of more defense-oriented. Just talk about how you feel your game has grown defensively as well.
I mean, before, I would say I was more like an on-ball defender. I would always guard the best player out of like ISO situations or pick and roll situations. And now I feel like I could still do that for sure. Definitely, I've done that multiple times this year. But I feel like I really expanded my defense off of just like being able to read plays like where the guy with the ball is probably likely to pass it, or if I know if I'm guarding him and I get beat, that if my man helps, he's most likely I could fade to the corner and probably get a steal because he's expecting the corner man to be open. Just little reads like that, I feel like I've grown a lot defensively, and being able to fight through screens, I'm a lot stronger than I was back then. So being able to get through screens on the ball and off the ball has helped me so much. Like there's times where I could be guarding the best shooter on the floor, and if I don't get through that screen, he's gonna hit the shot. So I just know that I just gotta use my quickness and the tactics that I know to maneuver on the defensive end to put myself in a better situation. And, it's all about playing it smart too. If I know a guy might be a little faster than me, I'm not gonna fight with him to get all the way under him because he has a chance to get by me.
Defense, what was it like guarding one of the better players in the LEC, Kendall Robinson?
He's a tough matchup. He's 6'5", 6'6". He could shoot the ball. He could get to the rim. Because stop on a dime, shoot the mid range. So I feel like that was one of the tougher matchups. But it was kind of crazy. I feel like I was playing the best defense I could on him. But he was just, he's taller than me. So if he gets to the peak of his jump shot before I do, then he could just shoot over me. I feel like that's what he hit a lot of tough shots on me. I feel like I made him take the toughest shots possible in a lot of those possessions. And he hit some of them, but he missed a lot of them too. He did end up, he had 29, I think, but I think he took 22 or 23 shots. So if I know I'm guarding a guy that can score at a high volume like that, my goal is not to literally shut them down to 0 points. It's to make them take the hardest shots that they could possibly take, make them take a couple bad ones, a couple early ones out of rush. And I feel like I did that, even though you could look at the stat sheet and he had 30, but he took over 20 shots. So in my eyes, I'll take that on any occasion. It's a different story if he had 10 shots and 30 points, but I feel like I guarded him the best I could. I remember vividly plays I'm literally standing in his face and he'll knock it down. There's not much you can do other than that. If I get him close, I'm gonna foul him. So just being able to live with that and not get discouraged by the fact that he's making some shots. I'm still gonna guard him the same way the next play. But he was definitely a tough matchup, just by him being so much bigger than me. But I feel like I did the best I could to my ability, honestly.
Yeah, there was several tough shots he made, especially late. I felt like he is one of the reasons that they were able to stay in that game, especially late. And then something I noticed in that game too is that you're on him even if he's off the ball as well. How important is it that you're that close to him off the ball and kind of making him tired?
Yeah, guys that can score like that, the easiest way to guard them is not let them catch the ball. So if guys like that, and if he passes the ball up early in the possession, then I'm gonna make sure he's not gonna get it back, because that's the best defense if you don't have to guard him. So me knowing that, I just feel like that came with my maturity growing on the defensive end over time, just knowing, all right, if he has the ball, like, he might be in an advantage right here in the mid post. So if he's trying to post me up, I'm fronting him, knowing that I have help behind me. I'm just not gonna let him catch the ball, because if he catches it here, I'm gonna be in a bad spot. So just realizing that and realizing where you are on the floor can go a long way on the defensive end. Like, it's different if he's standing at half court. Like, I'm gonna let him catch the ball up there, because he's not gonna shoot it from back there. Like, you just gotta pick and choose your situations, where you don't want to let a guy like us score the ball like that catch it in the spots.
A lot of defenses, especially IQ, and where you are on the court and what his game is going to do from that spot. And then moving into kind of what an off season looks like for you, you've improved tremendously since you were a sophomore in high school. Now you're going into your senior year in college. What type of things have you specifically worked on?
I used to weigh like nothing. So, I've been trying to gain weight, just keep muscle on me. Always getting shots up, working off, shooting off screens, like coming off a stagger, shooting like that. Putting myself in pick and roll situations. Just getting a lot of shots in game situations. If I'm in the corner, if there's a pick and roll, I'll lift, like getting shots like that. And keeping it game-like is what's helped me the most over the years. Because, you could go into the gym and just do a bunch of random stuff, but that's not going to translate to the game. So I think it's most important just to do things that is realistic for you to do in the game, because when that situation comes in the game, like I said, you repped it before, you shot it multiple times, so it's not going to be anything you've never done before, so you have a higher chance of hitting it or making that shot. But just always working on like ball handling drills, things I've done my whole life. I really haven't changed up too much like things in my workouts, just critiquing different things, like getting more creative with my finishing, getting into different shots, like being able to fade a little bit and still have balance, but still fade at the same time, like things like that. I think that's what I've really added more into my game. Just different types of shots, like floaters, say shooting off the glass from this angle, just little things like that. I've implemented in my workouts and drills and stuff like that to really help me bring my game to another level.
Yeah, and a lot of those things, you say it, and I can immediately think of specific examples of where that work has been put in. You talk about moving off screens. I can see you in games, it's a full sprint every single time, and then finding spots where you're going to be able to hit jump shots, and you work so well in transition. I can see that that's something you work on, especially at game speed. And is there any training programs or individuals that you've worked with over the years?
My boy Spencer Merkin, be working me out. A couple guys, Antonio Anderson, my high school coach, Tony Gallo, who else I worked with? Dwight Brewington, I guess a lot of, been through so much, I can't even remember off the top of my head like that. But it's more of taking little pieces of things that you learn everywhere and kind of putting them together in your own way to make them work best for you. Is what I really try to take out of those. Like, even if I don't think I could, or if I don't think I would actually do this move in a game, I could take the beginning half of it and mix it with something else that somebody else showed me, and just bringing everything that I learned from people that played basketball before me or currently, and just taking little bits and pieces and implementing them into my game my own way. I feel like I learned a lot, and I appreciate everyone who's helped me along the way, add those moves to my bag and stuff like that. So I appreciate it all that.
You mentioned Spencer Merkin. He's got some runs he does in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if you've been to any yet, but if you are looking to head to some this summer, what are some things you've seen from that and are you looking forward to?
Yeah, he got a great thing going on over there. Gets high-level guys from all over the place to come down and just have fun and play basketball. I personally haven't got to get up there yet, just because it's been a little far for me, but we've been talking. He said he's gonna try to get some things closer to me, so I'll be able to make some of those for sure. But summertime you don't really often see it that much, like at parks or something, like guys playing basketball the way they used to when I was growing up, at least. And it's kind of hard to get so many high-level players at the same gym at the same time, like the way he does, which is just a testament to him and who he is and what he stands on. But playing at those runs and that type of high-level basketball is gonna be better for everybody. Everyone that attends there is gonna get something out of it, whether they had a good day or a bad day. Like you're getting cooked a little bit, doesn't matter. It's gonna help you in some way, and it's gonna help him get his name out there for whatever he has planned in the future. So it's just a win-win, and it's basketball at the end of the day, so it's gonna be fun regardless of who you're playing with. But the fact that you get to play with so many guys at a high level and really know what they're doing while playing basketball is what really makes it fun and a good time. So I've definitely been planning to get out there this summer.
How important is it that you play in those summer league pickup games, whether it be with your teammates or just on your own?
Yeah, I played in a couple of leagues. Me on my team in one league, we were back-to-back defending champions, going for the three-peat this summer. I played a lot of summer tournaments. Just that environment, it's good to play in different environments like that. Like, it's a crowd, people talking trash to you. Like, you gotta be physical, gotta be strong. So things like that, environments like that you play in, those things carry over to even when you come play organized basketball, like here in college. Like you brought up the crowd in the championship game and stuff like that, but it really goes back to when you're just playing with your friends outside the parks and stuff like that, and people just watching, talking crazy, like, oh, you suck, like, all that comes back full circle and it helps you in a way even if you don't think it does. So I'm very appreciative of the summer leagues and all the adults that put these together and want to see the kids continue to play. And I hope that one day I could do something like that for the kids in my area to make sure they keep on, that the tradition continues.
Yeah, it's those earlier days when you're just, hanging with your friends, playing basketball. It's what makes you fall in love with the game and what makes you want to work towards achieving things like you have so far in your career. One last question. With it being the off season, you come off back-to-back champions. You've been in the NCAA tournament. What are some things we can expect from Mason G. Baptiste and Keene State House next year?
Just another great year. Hopefully we go further and we could reach our goal of winning the national championship. For myself, I just hope to continue to be able to be a leader on this team, be someone that guys look up to and could come talk to. And I hopefully perform better than I did this year and all my previous years. Just stay committed to the grind, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and I'll make sure to check it out, of course, as you should. Take a look at Mason G. Baptiste in his senior season as he looks to add to an already impressive resume, and as well keep an eye out for any Hoopcast content. So once again, Mason, thank you for being here.
Thank you, I appreciate it, no problem.